Funniest movie of the year was an easy pick, 22 Jump Street, a fantastic comedy that expands on the original concept with self-referential humor, great physical gags, and impeccable timing from the hilarious cast. And Ice Cube's freak-out scene in the buffet is perhaps the hardest I laughed all year. I only watched a few documentaries last year, but the Roger Ebert biopic Life Itself really moved me. It's a touching and honest portrayal of a man I personally admired. It intercuts talking head interviews about his humble beginnings with raw moments of his final days in the hospital. A sad but necessary picture. This is required viewing for all critics. Weirdest movie of the year has to go to Under the Skin. A slow-moving but captivating character study of Scarlett Johansson, a curious individual who obviously doesn't belong here. It's a moody and deceptive film that never spells anything out for you. I honestly didn't care much for it, but it made me think, and I can appreciate that. I'm sure plenty will disagree, but I felt Snowpiercer was the most overrated picture of the year. This South Korean science fiction action thriller about the last surviving members of the human race, who were stuck on a speeding train, is a really fascinating concept, but it boils down to nothing more than a thinly veiled and predictable commentary on the class system. Some unique ideas and gritty imagery, but ultimately I wasn't that impressed by it. Again, this is likely a controversial pick, but I felt the reboot of RoboCop was severely underrated by critics and audiences alike. I preferred this faster and more emotionally charged version than the clunky original. The action was intense and the story more interesting, but I seem to be in the minority here, so it's unlikely this will spark a new trilogy of cyborg crime fighters. Produced for less than $1 million, my favorite low-budget film was Blue Ruin, a methodical revenge thriller that portrays the real dilemmas of plotting a murder and trying to get away with it. The cast of relative unknowns provide great performances, and director Jeremy Saulnier exhibits some beautiful shots and scenery. Definitely check this one out. A movie many probably haven't heard of, Calvary gets my pick for the most overlooked picture of the year. Brendan Gleeson plays a patient Irish priest who has just received a very credible death threat, but must see to his flock of parishioners and wayward neighbors before dealing with his would-be murderer. This is a slower and quieter narrative, but a very engaging and interesting one, and I strongly recommend checking it out. I don't watch a lot of horror movies, but The Babadook was absolutely the scariest I have seen in a long time. Australian director Jennifer Kent paints a haunting and visceral experience of an unseen entity that terrorizes a single mother well past her breaking point. The lighting, shadows, and sound effects all elevate this original and unsettling story, but it's Essie Davis's heartbreaking performance that holds it all together. They can't all be good though, which is why Left Behind gets my pick for worst movie of the year. At this point, Nicolas Cage has become a pathetic caricature of himself, taking any awful project that promises a paycheck. This unnecessary remake of the terrible Kirk Cameron Christian propaganda picture of the same name is a total mess. Forget that it's poorly made, has cringeworthy dialogue, and iMovie quality visuals. It's also a blatant insult to the very religion it's attempting to promote. The fact that this saw actual theatrical release is a mockery of cinema. This is easily Cage's worst film, and that's saying something. Avoid at all costs.